We first got the idea when we were both teaching courses in second language learning and teaching at our respective universities, and we were exchanging material with each other. And we were asked at that time by the Ministry of Education in the province that we were living in if we would be willing to prepare a series of modules for teachers about how languages are learned, and we prepared about 5 of those.
And the idea was that teachers in the field should be able to use these materials with their local coordinators so that they could get some access to second language acquisition research that would be relevant to their teaching without having to come to the university to take a course.
That's right.
This would have been in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And we prepared these materials with the idea that people could take them and use them without having somebody there to supervise their using them. And then
they became very, very popular. We began to receive requests from people to use these modules outside of Montreal,
Quebec.
outside of Quebec, and people started using them in a variety of different programs that they were working in and teaching in, and so they kind of word of mouth sort of spread around, and then a colleague of ours
suggested that we put it together as a book, as a possible publication.
Yeah.
So we did. We put it together and submitted the first manuscript to OUP in the very early 90s. Very early 90s.
Yeah.
And there was some question about whether the book would be general enough for a wide audience. And as it's turned out, the book has in fact appealed to people in a lot of different places.
Yes.
So we've been gratified by the response to the book far beyond its origins in the province of Quebec.
Yeah, it's interesting because we never, so the answer, really to the question, we never intended to start out writing a book. It was really quite organic.
Yeah.
It's just we started out writing materials for teachers. Those materials turned into modules for larger groups of teachers. Those got expanded to teachers outside of where we were working in other provinces. And then, of course, we ended up writing the book that has spread even wider than that. So, I think one of the advantages that that Patsy and I brought to writing How Languages Are Learned is that we teach, and we always have taught, undergraduate students and graduate students. So we're used to talking to more advanced students about research, but we've also had lots of experience talking about research to undergraduate students, teachers in teacher training programs, and so we spent a lot of time trying to make our research lives accessible and meaningful to these groups of students. And I think there's also something fundamentally very practical about the nature of the work we do. I mean, we're doing classroom research.
Yeah.
And so, we're interested in how learners learn, and we're interested in how teachers teach and what the relationship is between the two. And that, in essence, is really quite practical, isn't it?
I think so.
We're interested in what teachers do, and we're interested in the impact that their behaviors have on their learners. And so we've spent a lot of time in classrooms talking to teachers, observing teachers, observing learners. And so, we know their world, and we know the world, and I think that's enabled us to talk to them about the research we think is relevant to their world.